StratNews Global and Bharat Shakti's founder and editor-in-chief Nitin Gokhale is just back from Taiwan. Let's get his immediate experiences from there. This is StratNews Global. I'm Amitabh Revi. Nitin, must have been very hectic and interesting times there, but can you tell us about this forum and the significance of it, or what are other forums that are kind of like it?
Sure. So, very interesting, definitely. And I must say, very hectic. It was just 2 days of working meetings and attending that forum, which is a full day forum. It is called the Ketagalan Forum, which has been running for 8 years annually. It is Taiwan's biggest strategic security forum for Indo-Pacific. It is an important country in the Indo-Pacific. It is like akin to our ICNA dialogue in India or the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore, which the IISS conducts every year. So, in a way, it is considered very prestigious in that part of the world. And India has been now a regular attendant for about 3 years now. So we were part of that. I was part of a delegation which was led by former Deputy NSA Pankaj Saran.
Any other interesting players from across the world?
Oh, quite a few. In fact, former Japanese Prime Minister was there. Of course, he was Prime Minister of Japan in 2011-12. Nikki Haley, US diplomat and also well known for her UN stint. So she was there. There were Baltic countries, delegation of 3 countries, Latvia, Lithuania, and I think Estonia, 3 of them. And there were, of course, neighbors, Philippines and others who had come. India was given a prominent place. In fact, the delegation leader, Pankaj Saran, was given the honor of responding on behalf of the panelists when they went to meet the president. For a long, 1 hour long interaction with him. And then he sort of spoke on behalf of everyone. And he was sitting right next to the president. And the president actually tweeted his name and saying that he and other important players were there. So India, of course, there's a lot of interest about India in Taiwan currently.
Since you're talking about the newly elected Taiwanese president, he made significant points about China's intimidation, militarily at least.
Oh, indeed. He says that we are facing unprecedented expansionism and intimidating tactics from China. But he made it very clear, and this is, I think, a common theme in his public addresses now since he got elected, and even during elections, that we are not going to succumb to China's pressure. They might do all kinds of tactics, hybrid war, pressure tactics, military intimidation, economic coercion. So he actually listed out Taiwan's 4-pillar strategy to take on China, and said that this is what we are going to be firm on. And he gave some very interesting figures and facts about how they are doing it.
So before I get to the roadmap that he's pushing for, the other point when he was talking about weaponization of trade, that China, economic coercion that you were talking about, and interesting figures that he...
Yes, in fact, I found it very interesting and very revealing, actually. He said, he quoted, it's there in his speech if you go online also. He speaks about the total Taiwanese investment abroad. 83% of that investment in 2010 used to be in China from Taiwan. He said in 2024 it has come down to 11%. So that decoupling or de-risking has already happened. So one doesn't realize that until this figure is flung in your face. The second one, he said that exports from Taiwan in 2010 used to be, total exports of Taiwan abroad used to be, out of that 43% used to be, or approximately 43% to China. Today it has come down to 31% in 2024. So there is a conscious attempt in Taiwan to de-risk, decouple, deleverage from China, which he sort of illustrated and backed with figures.
And he also talked about something that we are totally aware of, which is hybrid warfare or grey zone warfare tactics.
That's right. So he says that we are a constant target of hybrid warfare, misinformation, disinformation. And it's easy for the Chinese to do it in Taiwan because they share language, they share culture, civilizational values, all that. So it's easy to do and easy to divide the population there. They've been trying that since 2016 when current president's predecessor was elected, and DPP has now come to power for the third time, the DPP party, and which the Chinese don't like because they are known to be opposed to reunification or China's attempt to intimidate them. So he therefore appealed to all democratic countries that we must unite together against China's expansionism, this hybrid warfare, economic coercion, all kinds of things. And he says that's the only way to do it, and we are determined to do it. Yet, he had a last point he made in that was that we want balanced, cross-strait relations with China. We don't want confrontation or conflict, but it can't be on Chinese terms. It has to be sort of equity has to be there, or equivalence has to be there. So, very good points there.
The roadmap that you were talking about, that he wants to lead Taiwan down under, if you just break them up into 3 or 4 parts, I think the first is military, right?
Yes, he said about building national defense, strengthening national defense, deterrence, and he said budget is no constraint. I believe now I'll have to look up the figures, but I heard from almost everyone that Taiwan's per capita income is now fluctuating with number 1 and 2 between them and Japan in East Asia. So they're higher than even Japan sometimes, and close to Singapore and other countries there, which are Asian tigers. So money is not a problem, he said. National defense will be strengthened. We are determined to defend ourselves. We will not be expansionist. So that's first. Second point he made was about, if I remember,
economic,
it was economic resilience or economic, trying to diversify to other countries. So he also wants to be part of the CPTPP. The partnership that is the comprehensive and progressive TPP, where US used to be there, but it's no longer there, because that gives them the leverage in East Asia and Southeast Asia. So that's what they're trying to do. The third is, of course, to strengthen democratic coordination and partnerships with all other countries, because he identified North Korea, Russia, China as the axis which is anti-democratic, and therefore we must all unite, is what he said. And fourth, of course, is that, like what he said about balanced cross-strait relations. So this is the roadmap he gave out.
And again, these partnerships that he's looking at in other democracies, right? So that's one of the three pillars.
Yeah. So other democracies, anyway, they have very good, very close ties with Japan.
Yeah.
In fact, Japan has said that any threat to Taiwan is a threat to Japan also. US, of course, everyone knows how closely aligned they are with US. What they are looking at is that there are 18 southbound countries. That southbound policy was declared in 2017-18. 18 countries, which includes India. And this year, the exports to or trade with the southbound countries that Taiwan has identified, new southbound policy, has gone 50 million plus. But there he identifies, and officials, not he in that speech really, but other officials we met at the highest level in the national security setup, in the trade setup, and among the think tanks. They said that India remains focused because all the 17 other countries in that group of 18 southbound countries put together don't have the economic strength of India. So they want India to be a major partner. And of course, it's a work in progress. They are a little disappointed that the pace hasn't picked up, and they want India to do more.
So you would have got a lot of questions. You were on Taiwan television as well.
Yes.
They wanted to know more about Russia, Ukraine. But just breaking up the India part of it, what do they want from India, and what?
So they are saying, okay, we understand your political sensitivities, that you don't want you can't establish political relationship with us because of the Chinese angle, and there's a triangle really, China, India, Taiwan, and that sensitivity is there. But they want more trade, more economic relations with India, and they identify two problems in India. One is because Taiwan is dominated by MSME companies, medium, small, and say small and this enterprises, they do not have the strength or capacity or wherewithal to come and individually do business in India. So what they want is, they want special treatment in a way that they want one cluster to be established where all the Taiwanese companies can stay together. They can have, a kind of an enclave where all these manufacturing facilities are set up, and they're willing to do that. And surprisingly, they are saying that the state governments have to do it. The policy may be there because there is in Invest India, the organization that is there under the this Niti Aayog or under government, that has a Taiwan Plus desk. But ultimately it has to be the state governments, and they identified southern states, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, now Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka particularly, of being very encouraging, and they are very happy to sort of go there and do it. But so we told them, and we had sort of also done our homework more than me, other people who have worked in the government. They said that finally that demand has been met, and apparently in Dwarka, land has been allocated in Delhi, which is heart of Delhi now actually, where Taiwanese enclave will be built, and where they will come and stay, and then they can do. And apparently there are some 200 Taiwanese companies already working or doing work in India. So it's only going to be going upwards. But these are the teething troubles, or this is a bureaucratic kind of an approach, which they are not used to, because wherever they have gone, they've got a single window clearance, be it China, be it Japan, be it US, everywhere. So therefore, this was their grouse, if you can say that. But like we told them that this is the beginning. Let's walk on the bridge of democracy and look at the final objective later. Until we start walking, we will not know where we are going to reach. So they understood, but this was a common thread of, I won't say complaint, but the common thread of feedback from these people.
But they're very keen to establish that it is a two-way street kind
That's
of
right.
thing. So what can India or other countries gain from Taiwan or leverage Taiwan?
So everybody focuses on semiconductors, as you know, that's the fashion now. They have done that. Of course, Foxconn has also done the thing. Now the attempt India is making is to get the component makers of, say, iPhone production. iPhone is not just one part, so component makers are also there in Taiwan. Can they come and also support Foxconn, for instance? Or can they, these smaller companies come here to, invest in sub-assemblies and components manufacturing? That is their From India, they didn't have much of an idea what India could do. So I suggested, because of our experience on Bharat Shakti, I said that, Indian defense companies, if they manufacture something, say a UAV or a counter drone or ammunition, they surely cannot export to you because of the sensitivities. Directly they cannot export. So why don't you invite the Indian small companies or big companies to come and do joint ventures in Taiwan? They can manufacture there. That nobody can say anything. So they like the idea. So now that is going to be explored. And our mission in Taiwan is actually very proactive. What one big thing they have achieved in the past 1 year or so, which looks small, but a big thing. In any website of Government of India ministries, when you are filling a form for applying for permission or coming for a visit, you have a drop-down menu where the countries are listed. Taiwan was not listed earlier in that. So now they've managed to get in almost 90% of the ministries. Taiwan has been listed. So now if Taiwanese want to apply for visas, or they want to sort of apply for any permission, they can easily do it online. Earlier they had to write, and it was a very cumbersome process. So that's something the Indian mission has managed to accomplish, and it is really working very hard with different ministries like Methei, with Niti Aayog, with Invest India. All of these people have visited. Telecom people have been going there, telecom secretaries and others. But it's all under the radar, and India would like to keep that under the radar at the moment because of sensitivity with China. But yes, it's a like the relationship is right now walking, and I see in the next 5 years it will start running.
If you want to just wrap up your experiences and the significance of the whole
So this forum, like now they see this as messaging, multiple messaging to multiple people. Last year, of course, you know that the former 3 ex-chiefs went there, and it became bigger headlines in India than in Taiwan. And that's what I learned from people. That, it became very politically incorrect in India. They were, of course, happy to exploit it, that they went there. So the only, I won't say red lines, but caution there between India and Taiwan one could find, which India would like to impose, is not to, even if there is cooperation between security sector or security agencies and others or military, India would not like to publicize it or really give it that kind of public appearance. Rest, I think, more think tanks, more awareness. Everybody agrees on both sides, and I also have done a bit of my own pitching for it, that we are all there. And the very fact that Taiwan Plus is considered the establishment television station, they interviewed me for half an hour and Mr. Akbar, MJ Akbar, for half an hour differently, I mean on a different occasion, and had a lot of questions about India's geopolitical role, India's balancing act, what India and Japan are doing together, because the 2+2 had just happened. I must say one thing, at least in Taiwan Plus and a couple of other media and think tank entities, there is a lot of information, correct information with them about India and India's activities. So for instance, and I'll wrap it up here, I had done last September one small report that India is wargaming, or Indian military is studying what US may ask from India if in case the war breaks out, and if the war continues for 7 days, what will be asked for if it continues for 15 days, that study. So that question was included in the interaction that I had at the Taiwan Plus TV. So clearly they're keeping a very close watch on standoff with China, with what we do with China, and how we're going to go about our geopolitical approach. So the question was about multi-alignment, non-alignment, all that. It was fun, and it was a good to, this was my third trip in the last 3 years, but this was much more productive, much more higher level contacts or interactions, which also gave me and others, I'm sure, much more insight into what Taiwan is thinking.
Nitin, thanks for encapsulating in a short period of time your experiences, the significance of that, and keen awareness that Taiwan has, especially about India's policies.
Thank you. Pleasure.
And to all our viewers, do give us feedback on this interview. You can follow all our social media handles for the latest articles that we put up on our website, or interviews like this one on our YouTube channel. This is StratNews Global. I'm Amitabh Revi.